Hello, and welcome to this segment of Diablo Spot. So you might have noticed that we pulled down the BlizzCon video that we had created for the Diablo Spot YouTube channel. And we did this because it was kind of crappy and it wasn't updated with the new cutting thing that we're doing. Plus, we will have better predictions. This year's BlizzCon is also going to be the largest BlizzCon for Diablo 3. Apparently, they're going to be giving out a lot of information at this BlizzCon, and I would say this is the reason why this is because Diablo 3 is one of two games that Blizzard is working on currently, and Diablo 3 is probably is a full-on game, unlike Cataclysm, which is just an expansion for World of Warcraft. Granted, it's going to change a lot in the World of Warcraft world, but it's not as groundbreaking, you could say, as a completely brand new game, such as Diablo 3. Diablo 3, you could say, is not completely new or completely groundbreaking, but some of the things that they are doing in that game are pretty cool. So one of the predictions is obviously still the fifth class. It will more than likely be some sort of kinetically ranged character. And what I mean by kinetic, if you don't know what that means, is some sort of physical object being thrown or shot from a bow or shot by a gun, even though guns aren't really in the Diablo universe as far as I know. We'll more than likely see all the artisans at BlizzCon this year as well. We already know what all the artisans can do, but we haven't seen the Mystic or the Jeweler. In addition to the artisans, we'll probably see something about salvage in Diablo 3 and how it affects the game. We've already seen that it can craft items and enchant them, but what else can it do? We'll find out about that. It can also upgrade the artisans to a higher level, meaning that they can do more for your character. Also, at Gamescom this year, someone brought up the idea of having a system in sockets that would, if you put something in a certain order, would make the item better, such as rune words in Diablo 2. If you put runes in a certain order, you would get a rune word, and that rune word would have stats attached to it. Even though I think that Jay Wilson already knew about it, he just wanted to tell the guy that that was a great idea and that they were working on it. We also still have not seen all the systems that are in place in Diablo 3. I don't know what these systems are, but it has been mentioned that there is more than the rune system in Diablo 3, and the socketing system, and probably the crafting system. Granted, we might have seen all of them, but you never know. We could see something new. It seems that Diablo 3 is in a micro-iteration type working environment, meaning that each piece of the team is working on a certain part of the game. Hence, one piece of the team is working on Act 1, getting that all polished up to have a roadmap or a blueprint for the rest of the acts to build up on. Granted, they've already been working on all the acts, but it appears that Act 1 is the one that they want to finish up and then continue on with their iteration. Which means that the further that they get along, each act will probably get better and better because they'll have a better idea of how to make the act, how to create the act. They'll have more experience with whatever they're using to create the levels, and they'll have more experience just working with the overall system that they are working with. I'm betting this year at BlizzCon we'll also see more of the rune system, see what effects it has added for the monk and the wizard and the witch doctor and the barbarian. We only saw little bits of it for the sorceress and the witch doctor. The other two melee classes, we haven't seen much of what the rune system can do for them. So it should be interesting to see what they can do. Like I mentioned before, it'd be really awesome to see a barbarian whose leap attack would deal damage when he jumped and when he landed. That would be pretty awesome. I'm betting that that is probably what one of the runes do. Should be interesting to see how much description there is behind those runes as well. Because I remember one of the posts from Bashiok on the BattleNet forums mentioned that they were changing the descriptions of the runes to give a more generalized feel of what that rune actually does, since runes are different for every character class. Another curious thing that I heard at BlizzCon was that Jay Wilson mentioned that they might run out of time. He used it in an offhand sense, and I don't know if he literally meant the run out of time portion, but it seems that Blizzard actually might have some sort of deadline in place or some sort of thing that makes them finish up a piece of the game. This is needed because a game is never done. You can never have a game that is done. There's just, we need to work on this, we need to work on this, we need to work on this, or there's this sense of, okay, this is done. We don't need to work on it anymore, but we could. I'm guessing that's what Blizzard wants to get to. They want to get to the point of, it's done, but we could make it better. Hence, when they're done, when they're at that point, they can move on to something else. And then they can keep moving through the game doing that, and then they can do another iteration back through if they so wish. And I'm betting the Diablo 3 dev team has done this quite a few times throughout the game's production. Lastly, we'll more than likely see more of the class resources. More specifically, it would be on the Monk's Spirit resource and the Sorceress's resource. I'm not too sure if the Barbarian's resource has changed or the Witch Doctor's has changed. And what I mean by changed, I don't mean that the resource itself changed, but the way it looks or the way it acts might have changed. I'm betting that they're going to keep Fury for the Barbarian and Mana for the Witch Doctor. This is the end of this Diablo Spot video. I'm Halogen, and I thank you for watching.